Welcome to this weekly update. My name is Andre Rainey. I'm the proud mayor of the great city of Peekskill, New York. Today is January 12, 2021. I'm joined by our awesome city manager, Andy Stewart. And
How are you, Mayor?
Good morning. And our head clerk, Deborah Petrosky. Good morning, Deborah. How are you?
I'm fine, Mayor. Thank you. How are you?
I'm wonderful. Thank you for joining us this morning. Happy New Year. I don't know if I've said it to you already or not, but Happy New Year if I
to you,
haven't.
beautiful family.
Okay, thank you so much. All right, so good. So we're back again. There are a lot of things happening in the city of Peekskill, a lot of things to look forward to. I do want to begin by starting off with the information that Andy shared at the council meeting last night. For those of you who may have missed it, the police task force meeting will be this January 21st at 7 p.m. It will be another public meeting. So anyone who is out there who is interested in submitting any recommendations or asking any questions or just seeing or hearing the process that all of the subcommittees of the task force have made thus far, that would be the evening to do so. If for any reason you're unavailable on the 21st of this month at 7 p.m. and you can't attend by Zoom, you can always submit questions or recommendations to the task force via email. The information is also on our city website. If you go to cityofpeekskill.com, there's a link on there for the Peekskill Police Task Force, and all the information that you want, you can get there. You can submit to the email address there. Also, I will be delivering my State of the City address this year, late March. I will have a date confirmed, probably later this week or by next week weekly update. So I'll be sharing information with everybody in the city, and I'm asking everyone to tune in when I do deliver it. There's a lot of great things the city of Peekskill can look forward to. Though we had a challenging year for 2020, we are fortunate enough to be a unique city where we can look forward to some great things for 2021. And we will also do our best to get through this COVID process as the vaccines are being distributed throughout the entire nation. So just some good things I just wanted to share with you. Andy, I know if you wanted to touch base on the COVID positive cases before we get to Deborah.
Sure. Yeah. So first of all, yeah, we do have our Deborah Petrosky with us today, our city clerk, to answer questions and make some comments about probably the most public facing and commonly accessed department in City Hall. So we'll look forward to talking with Deborah a little more. But yeah, as far as COVID numbers, as you know, Mayor, the active cases in the city continues to go up, just like it does throughout the county. We post the number regularly on the Facebook page, and the county operates a dashboard. People can see those numbers anytime they want. Last posting was about 428 active cases, which is defined as anybody who lives in the city who's tested positive within the last 14 days. After 14 days, that positive case is assumed to be resolved, and it comes off the tally. So, but lately, there's a lot more coming on the tally than leaving it, and we continue to really stress the need to practice those social health behaviors that we've been reinforcing since day one: the masks, the hand washing, the avoidance of group gatherings or social contact where the virus can easily be transmitted from people who don't even feel sick. So we appreciate that cooperation. We certainly enforce that at the front doors of City Hall, where it's been a continuing effort to, to help people out remotely. We have an intercom. We actually just moved the intercom a little higher and a little louder to make it easier for people to speak with city staff if they have come to the door instead of using the phone in the first place. And we've been using body temperature checks and health surveys when we admit people to the building. And we'll talk a little bit about the clerk's operations in a few minutes, and you can get a little more specific about how that works. But yeah, no, I just want to mention that. And also that we're starting to get a lot of questions about vaccinations, as you mentioned, Mayor, and nobody has information right now from the state as to exactly, where vaccinations for the general public will be taking place. But we are poised to provide that information as soon as we have it. And we have a general hotline number on the webpage and on the city Facebook page, which is for answers about vaccines and for people to register through the state health department, presumably. So we'll make that information available as soon as we have it. We do know that the state is opening up vaccinations to more and more categories of people. So they're moving towards not only the frontline health workers, but people who are over 75, first responders. I know our fire department had access because they're all EMS workers, they're all EMTs, and the ambulance corps, and moving into the police department this week, over the next week, those frontline workers will get access, and then it will continue from there.
All right, sounds great. There's also going to be a vaccination webinar I'll be participating in later on this month with the county executive and a few health professionals. So once we confirm the exact time, not only will I share it on our weekly updates, but also share it at the council meetings and put the information on our city website if we get or once we get flyers designed. So hopefully by then, I'm sure they're gonna have a lot more information that they want us to share with the community and what steps that we're going to be taking as a community in order to get the distribution out. But in the meantime, for those of you who are looking to get tested, there's still places in the city of Peekskill where you can get tested. We encourage people to get tested, especially if you're feeling any symptoms. There are a few places in the local area that we posted on our city website. Again, please definitely check out the city website. There's a specific COVID link on our website specifically for that information. So we encourage everyone out there to please take a look at it. And if you feel any symptoms or you're feeling sick or you just think that you may have been exposed, please consider getting tested. And the results come back in most places within 48 hours, some even less. So make sure you do so. So that being said, I definitely want to welcome Deborah and thank you for joining us this morning. You know, you're all of our departments are very busy departments. Yours especially, as far as working with the community. People come in on a daily basis with questions. They want to get applications. They want to get permits. They want to get so many different things. They want to know about parking rules and regulations and whatnot. So I'm thankful that you were able to join us this morning, and I'm really, really appreciative of you taking time out to be here with us. So that being said, I guess if you want to just tell us a little bit about what's going on in the clerk's office, and especially during this pandemic, you know, what things have changed since the pandemic, you know, and what things can we look forward to during this next wave?
A lot of things have changed, unfortunately, because we are trying to limit our visitors by appointment only, but we do welcome anybody. If we don't have appointments and you come to the door, we'll try to accommodate you. We've had an overabundance of marriage license requests. It seems that a lot of the surrounding communities are not doing them or are booked until months in advance. So we've been getting so very many of those in and out. So doing a lot, as much as we can, we're doing over the internet, but those, they actually have to come in person to sign. And so we're accommodating as many of those as we can, but we are pretty backed up with that. Parking permits have also been on the rise, both for the commuter and the garages because of winter. So we're doing that daily. A lot of it can be done online, but people do have to come in. A lot of the seniors don't have online or are not familiar with online, so we accommodate them. Handicap permits are on the rise. Our girls are so busy, and Jeanette and Christina are just a charm and very good workers, and we all work very well together, and we're pushing out the work. Unfortunately, there's been a lot of death certificates due to COVID. That's been on the rise as well. We're doing a lot of those death certificates. The clerk's office does a myriad of things. We also do things for other departments. We do accident reports for the police department, Saturday drop off for DPW. We do so much in there. And I guess we're the first line of defense for anybody that has a question. You just call us, we'll put you to the right person, or, you know, if you ring the doorbell, you're not sure, you just call our office and we'll put you in the right department, hopefully.
Just to clarify, the Saturday drop-off is a card that you purchase from the clerk that
Correct.
you can use to bring materials on Saturdays down to the drop-off.
Correct.
So, which is run by the DPW.
Right.
Yeah, no, the clerk's office has been fabulous, you know, over the last year, and Deborah picked up the mantle from Pam Beach, who was city clerk for probably 30 years. And you know, we miss her. You know, she's a wonderful, wonderful woman and family, and big part of the leadership of Peekskill over many years. And
Sure.
Deborah had the chance to train under Pam when she was deputy clerk, and then was able to step in and provide a smooth transition, even as we face some very extraordinary times and some major projects. You know, Deborah's very involved with parking, for example, and the permit systems for that, keeping track of that. and as she said, she's kind of the main customer service station that many people who come into City Hall or need some routine service are going to end up with the clerk's office. Another very, very common areas for people to go to the finance department, because that's where they're handling the parking fines and payments, and that's also where people, when they need to pay their water bill and matters like that, things related to taxes, they're going to go to the assessor if they have a question about the STAR program, for example. And a lot of the foot traffic, but not as much as the clerk and finance, will go back to the building department or the DPW to get that sanitation schedule. We have actually a question about the sanitation schedule on Facebook I'll get to in a second. But also, people who are working on construction projects, obviously pulling permits and getting follow-up. So a lot of that has been happening remotely, which is great.
Yep.
And yeah, go ahead.
I just want to add to one of the things that we recently spoke about. I think Deborah did was extended like the parking time frame or the parking deadline. I remember it was like 2 days.
Yes,
or
it was a 2-day grace period, but we did extend
period.
5 days. So now if your permit expires at the end of the month, say January 31st, you're still good for 5 days. But if you don't do it within those 5 days, you're going to lose your spot.
There's no discussion after that.
Yeah, we got to
There's no
try to
discussion
get
after
you
that.
in and get you on time. It's really like dog eat dog out there because it's online now and people are thirsty for those spots. So if they see it come open, they are grabbing them.
Yeah. So many people had raised concerns about not being able to get out to the city hall within 2 days, or they couldn't, they were working overtime because of what's going on. So Deborah was, courteous enough to extend it to 5 days now. So 5 business days. So it's almost a week grace period for those who, if your parking pass expires. So
for Deborah, for that renewal, what exactly does someone have to do to renew their permit? Do they need to come talk to you?
No, actually, most of them can be done online. But like I said, for the seniors, a lot of them don't have computers or, they're unfamiliar with the program. So they can come over. We accommodate them, even if they walk up to the door and they don't have an appointment. We just let them in and we try to help them out as best as we can.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, thank you for that. Definitely.
Yeah, I think that was a really great move. Definitely, thank you. So just for people who are out there listening, remember it's 5 day grace period. It's no longer than that. It's no longer than that. But it went from 2 days to 5 business days. So
let me see if I can. Parking is always a hot topic. So let me look at a couple of the questions on the Facebook here that we're getting. One of them is really a planning and real estate question. So maybe we can get our planning director in for the next call, Mayor. That might be good. Mm-hmm. This one says, I was able to figure out renewing parking permits at the Nelson Street garage. Easy to do, but one has to wait closer to the renewal date to pay. Thanks for everyone's help in the clerk's office. So that was very nice that someone wrote that in. Another person wanted to know, is it new that you need a card for Saturday drop off? I've never needed a card when I've gone. How can I get a card without coming into City Hall as I stay away from public buildings?
How are they dropping off without a card?
Yeah, so the card system has existed for a number of years, which doesn't mean that the city workers sometimes don't allow people when they've forgotten their card to kind of go on the honor system. But that's not a system that's fair to all involved. And so cards are required. It is the rule. And I don't know, Deborah, is there a way someone can get a card without actually coming into City Hall?
Sure, they can mail a check for $25 to the clerk's office and we'll mail them out the card. That's not an issue.
Just mail it right back, right?
Yeah, mail it right.
Mm-hmm. If you have a question, call them and we could take care of that remotely. So they shouldn't need to come in for that.
Saturday drop off is for like bulk trash and things like that, right? Or
yes,
big items, not just like pull your garbage outside on Saturday. It's
mostly for bulk items, yes. But I know people sometimes bring 2-3 bags of garbage down with that. Yeah.
Okay. So
there's information about that in the city services brochure. And some items require a fee, like a major appliance or something like that. So you got to check that. You don't want it to turn you away, but make sure you've covered the requirements for a drop off. And it is a convenience. It's a good thing. And as one individual here has noted, you know, it helps with the bulk program. So there's a certain number of
that's
dates
for
per
sure.
year
Mhm.
where you could put bulk out, beds and furniture and other stuff. But if you don't want to store that stuff and you want to bring it on a Saturday, then you can do that. There's a question here about the bulk program and how many times per year. For many years up through 2019, it was 8 pickups a year, 4 on one side of the city and 4 on the other. 2020, I don't know why, but coming into 2020, it was doubled basically, and there's concern with that. So 2021, we're going by the traditional schedule and evaluating that. The bulk program is important. It comes down to roughly every month or so, depending on which, obviously it's about 4 times a year for the east side and 4 times for the west side. So it's a quarterly program. It's an important program that the DPW offers, and we're looking at that. But right now we're on the 2019 schedule, which was the schedule for many years, as opposed to 2020, where it was doubled. We can go into more detail with that. The thing to do would be to bring the director of the DPW on, which would be fun, because there's always a lot of questions about sanitation.
Okay.
Let me go back into these questions here if you want.
Yeah, certainly.
It's kind of, I don't know, they continue to talk about bulk, so I think we talked a little bit about that.
We'll let Dave Rimbo know. We'll be calling him
Yeah.
too.
No, there's always,
Yeah.
look, there's a need for that service, and there's a need for the Saturday drop off, and we want to make sure we maintain those, even though frankly the city's in desperate financial straits with the pandemic and the effort to keep costs under control. So there's a balance to be struck. But we invest a lot in sanitation, and it was appreciated. Well, let's have that conversation when we have Dave on. That'll be really exciting.
All right. Did they have any more questions on there for the clerk's office?
Let's see, clerk stuff.
I don't have my computer on.
Yeah, I don't see a clerk question right now, unless I'm missing it.
Okay.
Yeah. So we can go
right,
back
so
to
then-
other topics if you'd like.
All right. So we could, unless you had anything else you wanted to share, Andy, I think we can close this one out.
Well, I wanted to mention again that we have these kind of cool signs for any business or anybody who's got a doorway or a window and people are coming through. The masks required signs that the business improvement district designed. They're very colorful, they're standardized, and it would be great. They're right inside the front door of City Hall. They're available for download also and printing off of the BID's webpage. And they're just handy and they're available to give out. I know, Mayor, you've been doing mask handouts, and I still have a number of boxes of masks that we've given out. I know the NAACP has given some out. But if there's a community group that feels like, as an outreach activity and promoting public health, they would like, a carton of masks to distribute, to people who need them. We have those here, and we're happy to do that.
Yep. I'll be out there today in front of the library for about an hour, giving some more out. So
Yeah,
catch me if you can.
Yeah.
Give them out while supplies last.
No, and I think I have 3 or 4 more boxes in the office.
Okay, good,
So
I got about 3. So
we have extra sanitizer, jugs of sanitizer, which we can give out with the warning that the state donated sanitizer. It's very watery, and a lot comes out when you hit that pump.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why we throughout our building we have little dispensers.
It's not the gel,
control.
It's the actual hand sanitizer liquid. So
yeah, that stuff comes out fast. So those jugs, there's a little way you can kind of put some duct tape on the pump so it doesn't go down so far. So if anybody has a question about that, if they're using one of those jugs in their workplace or wherever,
one of the best suggestions were to, if your company has small spray bottles,
transfer it over into a small
bottles. To sanitize. That way you could just spray it out rather than pushing out, because it comes out. It's the liquid, it's not the gel. So
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
The Mrs. Scott wants to know what time you're handing out masks, Mayor.
I should be there at about 1 o'clock today. I'll be there from about 1 to 1:30. Then I'll be back there from about 2 to 2:30. So
Okay.
anywhere in between that time.
Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, okay. So, and I just want to know, there's a number of comments on the Facebook stream, and we could talk about this, Mayor. My approach has been to scan those and try to filter those in while we also are interviewing somebody or making other
absolutely.
announcements.
All right, so you want to let Deborah go then? If there's nothing for her, we can let her go.
Yeah, that's sure. But I just wanted to, before we close out, just say that, we could change our approach, but I haven't been reading every single question to you. Sometimes I respond to them a little bit offline or encourage people to
sometimes
email me.
I usually have my computer on at the same time so I can see them as well.
So, but sometimes we get a lot of questions and I don't know exactly how you want to run the flow of the conversation. But we do have questions on there that sometimes they're not getting addressed. So
let's take a couple more.
I will say, okay. And I'm also going to put my email in the chat. So if someone has a question and they think they might be able to get an answer offline, I'm more than happy to try to respond.
Yeah, I'm opening it up now so I can try to see. But if you take a couple more before we go.
Okay, so I'll start at the bottom. And there's somebody saying, any concerns about churches continuing to have frequent and almost nightly activities? Yeah, I'm concerned about any congregation of people anywhere. And I think that the state and the health guard have been crystal clear in the need to avoid that. The churches do operate under specific guidelines that I think are a little more permissive than others. And so.
What is any concerns about churches continuing to have frequent and almost nightly activities? So like
I think it's a COVID.
Activities every single night at the churches, basically what she's saying?
Yeah, I think it's a COVID question, COVID concern.
Yeah, so what she could definitely do is, notify the police, notify the Department of Health, or if it's, something that they're aware of that's happening at specific churches, notify the police when it happens or the Department of Health when it happens. That way, we can take the proper measures to shut it down. Unfortunately, the building department staff is not here at night, so they can't really get out there.
But there's that, and also the churches are actually have the right to keep running their services under certain conditions, and so I'm not an expert in exactly what those conditions are, but I know that they exist and they're not outlawed at this time. There's another question here. Suggesting a joint appearance with County Executive George Latimer on the Blue Mountain Park developments. And why was Peekskill Walks not included in the planning process? I don't know exactly how that committee was set up. I know that Councilwoman Talbot and Councilman Douglas played key roles, and it's some really exciting investments are going to be made at the Blue Mountain. And if anybody wants to see the report that group produced, just email me and I'll see if I can get you a copy of it. But it describes the facilities and the various improvements, and I know that the Peekskill Walks and others, if they're interested in weighing in then on that, can certainly contact their council people and make their thoughts known. And there was public discussion of that as well for the city council.
Anything else?
Yeah, so I think it's important that we do review the comments, but honestly, I can't go through all of them right now. And they do duplicate each other a bit as well. So
yeah,
but I put my email address in there. Anybody who has a topical or informational question that I can answer, I will certainly do that. And
oh yeah, that's a good point too. They are asking parents to sign up to get tested, because this will determine if the schools can or cannot open. So that's a very good point. If any parents out there, and I know we mentioned getting tested earlier on in this meeting, but that we definitely want to reiterate that the school is looking to and hoping to reopen, but I believe it's 20% of staff has to be tested. I believe that's the current number for a yellow zone. As
I
we
know
bring
they
it
have to
in.
hit a certain testing threshold in order to
Yeah.
open school.
Yeah, so
And that's been a
parents,
challenge.
parents and teachers in the city of Peekskill, please, if you haven't already, definitely volunteer to get tested. So I see a question. Do we meet with the pastors and express concerns? Well, we've, we definitely keep a communication with the PAPA, Peekskill Area Pastors Association. All of the churches are fully aware of protocol, not only from us, but also from the Department of Health and the county. There's guidelines that are created. The guidelines don't just go to the municipality, but the guidelines go to the school district, the guidelines go to the local businesses, and the guidelines also go to the local churches. So even if I don't talk to the church for every single pastor in every single church, every single day for the next week, they're still notified of the protocol that they have to keep in place. They know that there's a certain capacity that they can have. And if they're violating those capacities, then they should be subject to penalty. But otherwise, whether they contact myself or the city manager every day or not, they are fully aware and they are notified of the safety measures that they're supposed to keep in their church home.
Absolutely. All right. Mayor, it's up to you if you want to keep going or you want to close things out.
All right, I do want to let Deborah go because nobody's asking any clerk questions, so I do want to let Deborah go. I'll do one more. One asks, what are the security measures are in place for the change of presidents?
So that's a great
I'm not aware
question.
of us putting like extra security at City Hall, but this may be something we can discuss, Andy, with the council.
Yeah, no, actually, it's on my list of items to talk with Chief Helmy about today.
Okay.
We've all been seeing these notices, and I don't want to be. I think we need to be as cautious as possible, even though obviously the extremists who targeted the national capital have been talking about targeting state capitals. Our city, needs to be on alert in every appropriate way, and I know that our police department works with a whole coalition of enforcement agencies at the county and state level. So we're going to have that conversation because it's really important. It's a good question to ask. Mr. Winterfield put it on the Facebook, and
okay,
knock on wood and so on. The Peekskill is a small place, and it's neither the state or the national capital. But having said that, it wasn't that long ago that protesters briefly shut down the Tappan Zee Bridge. And those kinds of actions can really be a situation, for emergency vehicles and others, people trying to get to a hospital. Those kinds of actions are absolutely unacceptable. Okay. And we don't want to see anything like that happen in Peekskill.
Yeah. So we can close out because it's 11:30. I do want to, there's one more question. Are the schools currently giving out to-go meals? As far as I know, yes. The schools they've been maintaining that actually for about almost the entire school year, I want to say.
Yeah, it's certainly been since the spring. Yep.
Yeah, that also brings me to this Friday. We will be back at the parking lot of the Youth Borough parking lot with our food distribution. The City of Peekskill, City Youth Borough, and partnership with Westcop. So this Friday afternoon at 12:30 p.m., all seniors are welcome to come grab groceries. At 1:30 p.m., everyone else is welcome to come grab groceries. We'll be at the Youth Borough parking lot this Friday. I'm expecting a big shipment since we weren't there last Friday. So please come, weather permitting. Please come out there and grab something to eat. We have plenty of volunteers for this weekend. We're already set. So we look forward to seeing you all Friday. And other than that, God bless you all.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Deborah, for all the work you do. And thanks also to the folks who joined us online today. Really appreciate it.
Have a great afternoon, Deborah. Thank you again. And Andy, I'll see you soon.
All right. Bye-bye.
Take care.